welcome to I Ain't Lying, episode 3. Today is my extreme pleasure to have Johnny Hamood. Johnny Hamood is an attorney. He is a U of D Jesuit alumni, and most importantly, he is a sports agent. Johnny, welcome to the show, man.
Amer, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Bro, when I first thought about the podcast, I said, I got to get my boy Johnny.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this too.
Bro, you're
Chat it up with you.
You're like every man's dream, but not like that kind of dream. And I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
How long you been this good looking, man? Seriously. How long you been this good looking,
man? You're making me blush.
Bro, let me tell you.
Is my wife going to watch this?
I don't know. You tell me, but here, I didn't tell you this in the pre-interview, right? So they're like, Amer, what's the next podcast? I'm like, a friend of mine named Johnny Hamood, he was like, the personal injury guy? I'm like, yeah. He goes, dude, that guy's always good looking. Dude, there's men crushing on you, man. Other personal injury attorneys, bro.
That I'll stay away from. But you see my son, he's the real stud, 10-year-old.
Really?
Yeah, he's a good-looking kid.
Hey, man, if he looks like, and I have the honor of knowing your dad, and not to say, hey, guys, not to say anything, but he comes from good genes.
Thank you.
Now, your uncle, not so much.
That's awesome.
But the genes are good.
Thank you.
Hey, talk to us, man. You're a U of D guy, U of D Jesuit, right?
Yeah, U of D Jesuit.
Go
So I
Cubs.
born and raised in Dearborn. In 8th grade, my parents and I talked about where you're going to high school.
Yeah.
I was in the Dearborn High District, the public school district, but we kind of wanted more for athletics and academics, and U of D was the perfect fit. I mean, it's one of those things, and you don't really appreciate it as much until you're gone out of there. But like diversity and the networking connections and the academic rigors that we had to go through, it was awesome. God willing, my son will be there in a few years. Like every boy I know, I tell them like that's the spot for you if you want the right institution. I love that place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now you went there. What sport were you playing?
So 9th to 12th grade, I played basketball, ran cross country 1 year, but I was a basketball guy at UAD.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Varsity freshman?
I played JV my freshman year and then played varsity 10th, 11th, 12th. We had some great years. I coached by a guy named Carlton Johnson, but, it was a tough league. We used to play in our districts were still public schools league teams, so it was tough to get out of the district, Mumford and Redford and all the dogs back then. It was fun.
Toughened you up, bro.
It did.
You went on to play college ball.
I did. So I got a scholarship to Hillsdale College, Division II. I played 4 years at Hillsdale, 2 years as a team captain. Been blessed to, play and stay away from injury. Was lucky enough to get in a couple of the record books for like steals and assists, some point guard stats, but it was a great experience as well. But it started at UAD, like the connections I made playing ball and, in the city, but also traveling for AU and all that good stuff during high school. Like that was the best times of my life.
You were busy.
I was busy.
You graduated from Hillsdale. You played ball. You got a degree. What was your degree in?
So I got my finance degree in undergrad at Hillsdale, kind of not really knowing what direction I wanted to go in. Law school wasn't really a thought. I'm just kind of going through school and playing basketball, and you're an undergrad and just kind of figuring it out. So I graduated with a finance degree, came home, and then trying to figure out what do I do? Do I go get an MBA? Do I go to get a JD? And I decided that the JD was the move just in terms of the diversity of what I can do with it, right? I looked at guys and I didn't really want to practice law, but I decided to go get a JD and see where it took me.
We talked about this a little bit earlier off camera. I'm an attorney, you're an attorney, and a lot of kids going to college and they say, well, I don't know what I want to do. I always say, go to law school. Go to law school. You don't necessarily have to come out here and be a litigator and grind. I know you have a litigation practice. You grind. I grind. A lot of the most successful people running corporations, running the MLB, running Adam Silver, these are attorneys. Law school teaches you a different way of thinking. It can teach you how to look at a contract, negotiate it. I encourage kids. Law school is a good asset, right? Invest in yourself. It's expensive, but running a business.
Yeah,
is
I think you touched on it. It's an awesome asset to say. I'm a JD. I've learned how to think in law school, right? It does. It teaches you how to think and analyze. It teaches you how to reason and use logic. And also, to your point, like I looked at it back then. Agents or JDs, people who run sports teams have law backgrounds. So I kind of thought like, hey, what's the worst thing that could happen? Let me go to law school.
$300,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, I went to Wayne State. It wasn't that bad back then.
Oh, you went to? So you're a smart guy. You went to a good law school.
Yeah, I only applied to two, Michigan and Wayne State, and I went to Wayne State because I didn't get into Michigan, so that was kind of what it is.
Hey, you turned out all right.
Yeah.
Man. So a lot of people, you hear this phrase, "follow your passion," right? And one guy I heard one time say, "Well, look, you can follow your passion. Passion doesn't pay the bills, right?" What was your passion? Like when you came out, you said, "Hey, what did you want to do?"
For sure. So I couldn't agree more. Passion doesn't pay the bills. I was in law school kind of not knowing what I wanted to do. I always thought my passion was sports, right? Since I was 4 years old, I never loved anything more than playing basketball, playing football, being around, the arena, the field. So my passion was sports, but, life hits you too. So I got married early. I was still in law school. My wife was still in undergrad. We were broke pretty much. We had to figure it out together. She worked at her uncle's pharmacy at the time, making a couple $100 a week.
Sure.
And I got out of law school and I couldn't chase my passion and try to become a sports agent. I had to go get a job that's actually going to pay a salary and start supporting a family. So my litigation practice kind of ensued from there, and really not planned, but 16 years later, I had been doing litigation, until now.
So what was that path that took you to the sports? What's the name of your sports agency?
Net Sports.
Okay. And when did Net Sports
Net Sports
happen?
was formed 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago or so. The path that took me was I was able to come to a time in my life professionally where, I was secure enough financially to kind of take some shots with my passion. And also I had to scratch that itch of getting back into sports. So the easiest way for me was, let me go get licensed with the NBA and the NFL to actually represent athletes. I could use my law background. It's something I always wanted to do. I can still have a law practice. And a lot of the times those two things complement each other, the contract negotiations and whatnot. So it's a no-brainer. Let me see what happens and go get licensed with the NBA and the NFL.
What's that process really quick to get licensed? Do you have to be a lawyer to be a sports agent?
So the NFL does require a post-grad degree of some kind. You don't have to be a lawyer. I thought it made the most sense, so it worked out well. I don't believe the NBA requires a postgraduate degree, but you basically submit a background check, you file an application, and then you prepare and study for their respective NFL or NBA PA exams, which test you on the collective bargaining agreement and the ethics rules regarding agents. Once you pass, you get certified, and you're ready to roll.
You used to take a test, LSAT, the bar exam.
Yeah, look, when I was taking it, I said, I passed the bar, I better pass this thing. Like,
Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
You have a partner, don't you?
I do, yeah. So my business partner at the agency is a guy named Buck Logan. We've been together now for a couple years, played college football, like really, really good dude from the area as well, grew up in Highland Park. So I think, us two have done a pretty good job in a short amount of time of taking some big steps with our agency.
Sure. And can you talk about a little bit of recruiting? How do you get clients, right? What's that look like? And how does that work? Like what's the day in the life of Johnny Hamood, the recruiter, trying to get people on Net Sports?
It's interesting. It's a grind like anything else. I mean, mostly networking and making contacts, initially. But we're out on the road a lot, talking to families, kind of like selling ourselves on why they should give us a shot for their kid. Talking to the kid, talking to his coaching staff, but basically making sure they know what we're about as an agency and what we want to present to them. I think it comes down to really just doing right by people and being a good dude. If you can earn that respect from someone initially, let them give you a shot, get us in the room, and if they choose someone else, that's fine too. But that's the recruiting end of it.
Well, if I could say something to that end, in any business, you have to have a differential factor. Mm-hmm. And I talked to you a little bit about before how we had an experience where we helped a young man out of Michigan State get a sports agent. That agent did really well for the young man. He's still grateful to him. But I remember during that whole process, there were people that were promising the world. There were people out there recruiting. And I do know you. I know you well enough from the professional practice of law. Your differential factor, I think, is your honesty. Like,
thank you.
You probably under promise, over deliver. If I didn't know anything about you, the way you practice law,
that's our
the
goal.
clients that you had. they know what they're getting, and you don't sell them on dreams. It's a tough business, right?
It's tough because people they they want to hear what they want to hear a lot, and sometimes that's a disservice to us to just tell them what they want to hear. I think to your point, like we try to under promise and overperform, and also our mantra is just being straight with these guys, man. Like they're young guys. They're trying to navigate a world of professional sports, which is not easy.
Yeah.
But for us, like to know that we're giving them some integrity and some reliability and some availability. I heard one time, like, the best ability is availability. Like, if they call, we got to be there. We're at the game, we're talking to their parents. That's the sell that we can have, that I will put us up against any other agency, the biggest billion-dollar agency in the world. Like, I feel like we will do that as good, if not better, than anyone else.
Sure. And a lot of times when I'm talking to a prospective client, or I'm talking to, somebody's pitching me a business deal, I said, you want me to tell you what you want to hear, or you want me to tell you what you need to hear?
Yeah, tough conversations.
Those
Some
are
tough conversations.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
Those are the best ones. And and there's a lot of parallels between the practice of law when you represent clients and, what you do in the sports agency world. You do more than sports agency, right? You have another aspect, a marketing aspect in your company. And
Exactly,
that's sports.
exactly. So a lot of what we do, the goal is to get these guys represented as their agent negotiating their NFL contracts. But also, whether or not we have that aspect of the business, we're also doing marketing and endorsement, finding deals for these guys. So managing their marketing, finding them deals locally and outside the local area of where they play, because they do have some worthiness to their name, image, and likeness that they can capitalize on. Not every player has the same appetite for it. Some are like, it's not really worth my time. I'd rather just be a football player. But I think the best we can do is have both of those buckets, representing you as an agent, but also representing you for marketing and management.
Sure. So you have some clients that are not necessarily your client as an agent, but
Correct.
you represent them on the marketing stuff. And another thing, too, is I think now you've cut your teeth. You've negotiated with some of the big boys. You've been in there for years.
Yeah.
And you have clients. You have clients in the NFL,
Yeah.
right? And I want to talk about one of your recent guys in Miami, right? And we have a video, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Maybe use that player. A couple players I know that you have. One guy in the Chicago Bears that I think you're doing the management, and then your other guy in Miami. Let's use those two players out of your other. Out of your stable, so to speak. Talk about that journey. Like let's talk about the Miami. What's the Miami guy?
Yeah, Jason Marshall Jr. He's a cornerback out of actually from Miami. He's a hometown kid. Played football at University of Florida in Gainesville, and then was drafted by the Miami Dolphins. 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Jason and his family are, great, like salt of the earth people, really respectable. And we recruited Jason for a couple of years. That culminated finally in a journey of him getting drafted in the fifth round this year of the draft. Sure. And I'm sure you saw the video, but amazing process. Like our first draft pick as an agency, right? Prior to this, we had signed guys to NFL contracts. We've signed free agent contracts with teams, but this was our first draft pick. So kind of a big feather in our cap moving forward. Amazing process. Nerve-wracking process. I mean, I'm talking to GMs, texting GMs over the first 3 days of the draft, personnel guys, kind of like trying to find spots for him in that draft. And we're watching the board just like anyone else, like a fan would.
Sure.
And we're, checking boxes and seeing where he could fit. So Jason was drafted in the 5th round, pick 150 by the Miami Dolphins, his hometown team, which was a dream come true. And I think his journey is just starting. Jason's going to be an all-pro one day, I believe it.
And just like how you want clients, but you also vet clients. They have to fit your motto.
No doubt.
What your ideologies are, because I'm sure you say no to a lot of people as well. And this guy fit what you guys are trying to do at Net Sports.
Completely. Yeah, I mean, the first thing is, do we think this player can play in the NFL? If yes, then we'll go to the next. Like, is it a guy we want to represent? And Jason fit both of those boxes from the beginning. Like I said, I think he's got a great head on his shoulders. He loves the work, humble kid. He's no team is going to have to worry about what Jason's doing.
Okay.
He's locked in. And for us as a client, he's the best client to have. We know he's going to put in his work. We're going to do our work for him on the back end. And I think, hopefully that's, God willing, that's when good things happen.
Ask you a question, man.
Yeah.
The head coach there seems like a weird dude. Yeah. But anyway, he seems cool but kind of weird, outside the box kind
I
of
think
guy.
he's both those things. I think he's cool, and I think he's a little weird too. But the players like him, from what I understand. You know, they got to win. They got to win.
Right.
I think he's probably got to win a playoff game or something.
I think he's a great coach.
Yeah.
He's demonstrated that he can get wins. Right. It's all about results. Football is about results.
That's what it is.
Your company is about results. Your clients is about results. Now you have the other side of the coin, the management. You have one other guy. You have many guys, but a guy in Chicago. You're doing their
We do some marketing and management for Chicago Bear as well, defensive tackle. So that side of the business is a whole different facet of it, right? You're not negotiating with teams for contracts necessarily, but you're talking about finding endorsement deals and managing his personal life, managing his appearances, managing his endorsements. So it's been a learning process for sure, because these players have different needs based on what role you're serving for them. Ideally, every NFL player we'd love to do the agent work for and negotiate their contracts, but there's many facets of what being a sports agent looks like.
All right, man. Have you graduated to 2 phones yet, or what, man?
No, I'm still on one. I need another one. I need another one.
Right?
Yeah, I'm still low key. I got one phone.
All right, I still remember Jerry Maguire, the flip phone. You would go through that. Is that ever in history? You saw the movie, right?
Of course.
I think every sports agent that's an inspiration.
That and the show Ballers. Everyone wants to be on the HBO show.
I haven't seen that. That was with the Rock, right?
The Rock, yeah.
Yeah, I can't afford HBO. One day when
I'll give you my password.
All right, yeah, there you go. Hey, I'm just kidding, HBO. I'm not going to do anything illegal.
We're joking.
Yeah, we're going to be all right. So, man, you're traveling a lot.
I'm traveling a lot. I'm traveling, and I got young kids, and I do my best to be there for everything. I coach my son's football. I coach his basketball team, so we're involved. I mean, I've been blessed to have parents that are around and helpful. My wife is helpful, obviously, but the weekends in the fall, I'm all over the place.
That's why you're so skinny and good looking, man. Now you need me to come coach. Hold your bags at these different cities. Hey, you ever take your son to a trip?
We do, yeah. We take him to games all the time. He loves it. He's a football player too, so he gets off. We took him to Baltimore last year. Had a guy in the Ravens, watched a game there. Took him to some college games, but it's not. This is not like glamorous travel. I mean, it's fun.
No?
I mean, you're in and out of a city for 12 hours and flying back. After
at the Ritz-Carlton, you're flying private, even caviar. Is that what you do every day?
Residence Inn, the Holiday Inn somewhere. No, it's good, man. Like it depends on the city, it depends on the trip. I mean, sometimes we'll try to make a short vacation out of it. We'll go, my wife and kids, to a city where I can knock out a game. But pretty much every weekend this fall, I'm at either a different college stadium or a different NFL stadium for my guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you want to adopt me, but the food budget might go up a little bit.
I got you.
Yeah, it'll go up a little bit, but we'll take care of that. So talk to us about this. I don't know if it's a new phenomenon now. It's at least 3 years, the NIL. Are you guys part of that deal? What does that process look like?
So a couple of things. Number one, it's good for our smaller boutique type agencies because it gives us the ability to kind of get in and build rapport with clients sooner. It gets us into the game, right? So high school kids, college kids, they now have the ability to make money off of their name, image, and likeness, right? The NIL acronym. Traditional NIL, getting endorsement deals for players, that's usually reserved for the bigger guys, Caleb Williams, Dr. Pepper. Arch Manning's got a bunch of deals this year, right? The bigger college players are getting these massive NIL endorsement deals. But even the average, high major D1 players now, they're getting paid by revenue sharing from the school. So a lot of them want agents. A lot of schools want agents like me involved so that we can actually negotiate on behalf of the player with the school as to how much the player is going to be getting paid from the school. It's a new phenomenon. It's kind of like a minor league system right now, really. But it's definitely a changing landscape. There's been some legal cases that have come down in the last couple of years. There's been some statutes being passed through different House and Senates around the nation. So it's here to stay.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
How you cosplayers have agents now?
Yeah.
How much involvement do they have in the transfer portal? Are they on the phone with other schools? I mean, are they pretty much selling their client services to the highest bidder?
Not to the highest bidder, but there's a money component for sure, right? There's also the football fit component, and we've had guys in the transfer portal, and we've made guys money in the transfer portal, and we've taking a fee off of that. But the more important thing for us is we tell the guys is instead of looking for a short-term win in the portal for a couple $100,000, what's the long-term fit if you want to be an NFL player, right? Are you jumping from one school to the next just for a quick lick of money? That may be the smart play now, but what's the football fit look like, right? So we try to have these conversations with the family. Your son may be making a ton of money now, but we're trying to get in the NFL. We want him to have 10 or 12 years in the pros. And sometimes moving schools or going to the highest bidder, so to speak, that's not getting you there.
I want to correct you somewhere. You said the word taking a fee. You've never taken it. You've earned everything you've ever made.
Right.
You've earned it. And let me tell you why you've earned it. Talk to us about when you get a client. It's just you just don't go and negotiate a contract and they make money and you've earned that. You actually help them with their nutrition, the trainers. It's a business. You have a business. You have expenditures. You get your guys right.
Oh, yeah.
You get them right. You get them, thinking about their health, their nutrition. Talk to us about that. So you've earned everything. You don't take anything. You've earned everything. Talk to us about that journey. Like,
aside from
you're
the course,
signing Amer Hakeem.
Yeah.
What am I? Am I offensive lineman, Peyton? What am I? What are we
Probably-
doing here,
probably
baby?
like
Whatever you want.
D-line rusher? What are we doing here,
I
right?
think he's like a left guard.
I'm a left guard. All right. I'm Hakeem's a
So-
left guard.
so
I
yeah.
went to Wayne State University. Go Tartars. What are we doing? What's the first thing you do with Amer?
After the courtship process, and we agree to move forward together.
Well, I'm already in love. You already know that. We got that bromance going.
So you agreed to have me as your agent.
Yeah.
We sit
I'm
down.
honored to have you represent me, by the way.
Thank you. I'm honored to have you.
All right.
We talk about a plan. What's this plan going to look like for Amer? How do we get him to the NFL, right? And most of the times, all the times, it includes a nutrition plan. It includes a training program. It includes not only like marketing you to teams, but talking to scouts in advance. Where do you like Amer? What do you think about his potential? What can we do to get him at a higher rating? And honestly, these conversations are happening earlier and earlier. We're having conversations with guys, with NFL guys, while the kids are in college, to say, we have a prospect, we think he can be here, what do we need to get him here? So the package that goes on behind the scenes is much more robust than sitting at a table and saying, okay, here's how much you're going to be paid once you sign. That's I don't want to say the easiest part, but that's the last part of it.
That's the end goal.
That's the end goal. Yeah, but getting there is difficult.
You're investing in me.
We are. Yeah.
Your money in your company is investing in me.
Yep.
And you're believing in me. That's a differential factor that I think. A lot of guys, you can find them at these colleges starting today. They'll be out there when the players get on the buses, they're getting cards. Yeah. They're hoping to throw a cast out there to get someone. You're not doing that. You're investing in that individual's future.
For sure.
Because there's a mutual parallel there. Their future, successful future, is depending on your company's successful future.
We're a team, and we tell the parents that, we tell the players that, like, we're a team. We're going about this together. We're going to invest money and time and effort into you because we think you could potentially be an NFL player. We hope that you invest the time and effort into us and putting the work in that's going to get you there. But it's definitely a team approach. Like, if, we're not just willy-nilly, blindly taking a dice roll on somebody.
That's bad business.
It's bad business, and it's irresponsible for us. Like, we're a newer agency. We got to be calculated and take some good risks. And we have some that we've lost, and we're going to have losses in any business. But we've had some wins too that I think really panned out. And onward and upward, we're rolling now.
You got to show some love to your NBA guys too. You got basketball guys. Remember, we were just talking about football, man.
Yeah.
There's some NBA love. Speaking of love, you got to talk about common folks like us. What's that negotiation thing like, man? Are you in there fast fire? Is it like an oral argument in front of a judge? Like, what is that? How's that feel? Like, what's that look like? Take us in that room.
Yeah, I'll compare it to...
You're representing Amer.
Yeah.
I'm Amer, and there's Brad Holmes, and there's whoever the decision makers. What's that look like?
Well, when I was an athlete, basketball player in college, you get those butterflies before the game. The NFL guys still get them. It's natural. That's kind of like the heat of the competition, like that first feeling you get when you're sitting in these rooms negotiating, is you got butterflies and it's a game on, like the bright lights are on and you're ready to roll. At the same time, like for us as a younger agency and me, like with a couple of my first NFL negotiations, you do have a little bit of that imposter syndrome. Like, do I belong here? Am I capable of doing this? And then just like when you get hit, the first hit, like you sober up real quick and then it's game on and you got to talk. we had an interesting negotiation with Dallas a couple of years ago with the Cowboys, and 10 or 12 people in the room, and Stephen Jones was there, and you see these guys on TV, and they're dealing with Micah Parsons and Dak and all the big guys, and you have to talk to them and advocate for your client as best as possible. So you just got to rely on who you are, and you tell the truth and be straightforward in these things.
And I know you've evolved. Now guys like, the Commanders head coach Dan Gwynn's calling you. You got your number. The guy in L.A., what's his name?
Sean McVay, we had a call.
Yeah. They call you now.
Yep.
You're growing up, man.
Yeah.
Those butterflies, you're becoming a veteran. And honestly, again, a lot of parallels practice law. Young lawyers are great, but they call it practice law. Every day you're in there, every day you're doing, you'll know a little bit more. I think that's where you're at now with your agency, right? You're not that rookie anymore, but you're also not that veteran, but you're so grounded that you can understand and navigate through the system. That's very important, right? Like Amer Hakeem, look, you got every agent has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But if my son was playing ball, I'd say, you know what, this guy Johnny, he's still hungry. Number one, he's not that fat. Guys have been doing it for years. But he knows what he's doing. He knows how to navigate. There's a lot to be said about experience, and you have that experience now.
Yeah, the last few years have been extremely beneficial and educational for us. Like we've learned a ton, navigating what a draft looks like for a guy who's getting drafted, navigating what a free agent negotiation looks like, with a squad full of front office guys looking at you. Those are experiences that.
Well, the combine.
Yeah, the combine was great. Talking to scouts in advance of the combine, kind of taking that towards the draft, and getting grades on guys and trying to trust and make moves according to that. The education was invaluable. Like I couldn't pay more for the last 3 years.
And that's another thing about your where you're at now. You have scouts on your phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the great part. I think that people should consider trying to get someone who's been there. And that's that. Now, you've been there. You've done that. We got to talk about I ain't lying moment, man. You got to come strong, bro. You got to hit the guy in his mouth. I don't need nothing weak, bro. I need an I ain't lying moment. What's your I ain't lying moment?
Well, I told you the shining, the feather in our cap so far as the agency was our guy Jason get drafted to Miami, his hometown. And I ain't lying is pretty simply the morning of the draft, being my business partner talking about how Jason's going to end up in his hometown and play for the Dolphins.
Where were you at?
So his family is from Miami, area. We were down in Miami, Fort Lauderdale area during the draft weekend.
So you sweating in Miami, baby?
Yeah, yeah. And sure enough, and there was a lot of other teams, involved. He had visits with Green Bay and some other teams before the draft. They were communicating with me all throughout the draft, like, hey, we like him here, and. You know how the draft, just like a fantasy draft, things go crazy and then you got to change plans. So there's a lot of, spur of the moment changes. But, then we get a call. I got a text message actually from a Miami front office guy. And it was like the emojis, like the two big eye emojis, like something's happening, like watch. And I text him back and I'm like, hey, give me some good news. And then he's like, watch this. And then Jason, my client, gets a phone call and it's the head coach from the Dolphins. We're going to make you a Miami Dolphin.
We're fans now. Yeah. We were talking about we're fans, right?
Yeah. So, that was a surreal moment.
Where were you? I know where you were. I got video.
Yeah, you got video.
You're pacing, man.
I'm pacing, yeah, because,
I'm glad you wore pants this time. You got to work on, you're like a little white over there, man.
I know. I got to get a place in Miami. That's the thing.
You got to get a place in Miami.
So yeah, I was pacing because, you never know until it's done. And every pick that went by, we're thinking it could happen here. It could happen here. There's a team, Minnesota likes him here. Green Bay likes him. You don't know what's going on. And then they go elsewhere. So Miami, they pull the trigger with the 150th pick in the draft. And, it looks like Jason's going to start week 1 next week. He's had a great training camp and he's an extremely coachable dude and he's going to do really well. So the surreal nature of like us in Miami, in his hometown, getting a call from the Dolphins, played in Florida, family was over the moon ecstatic. They get to see their boy play in their home. It gives me goosebumps right now, to be honest.
What game are you going to, man? What Miami game are you going to?
I'm going to be there down a bunch. Yeah, I'm going to be a bunch down there. I have to, I love South Florida anyway. Like, I love to support our guys in person.
You look like a South Florida guy, too, by the way. I look like a Green Bay guy. You're a South Florida guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a Bears guy. Just before the record. Not a
It's hard
Bears
to be
guy.
a Bears fan if you're from Detroit. I get
man.
that. But
man.
no, so I'm going to be down there a bunch. To me, I was going to say I love supporting our guys in person. Like you can watch, NFL games are on TV. You get NFL Sunday Ticket, whatever. You watch every game you want. But being there in person and like having some FaceTime with our guys and their family, that's important to us. I hope and I believe the players appreciate it too, like us showing up for them, because anyone can just represent you from afar. We like to be around.
My man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man. This was awesome.
All right.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Yep.